Hey, today I'm looking at a free Reverb plugin from Signs of Life in cooperation with Dawsome. So it is absolutely free, and it is a reverb that uses light, space, and motion to create really cool atmospheric sounds that you can use pretty much with anything. So I wanted to play around with it, starting with really basic sounds to show you like how big you can make these sounds and how transformative this can be. So as you know, I'm a sucker for reverb. I usually use Valhalla with like everything. So I really wanted to try this out because I do like Dawsome's products, and this was also free. So I have Meld, and it is one of Ableton's basic synths. It's a pretty simple synth. You've got basic shapes, and you have some other texture type sounds, which we'll get into a little bit later. But I just wanted to start with a basic, like basic shape sound, like a sine wave. And I'm not even going to do anything to it. I'm not going to change, the amplitude or the envelopes or anything like that. Just to show you, I'm going to show you some of my favorite presets with this. So this would be considered like a key. You can transform this sound into something completely different. So here's before. And then here's just with this first preset. And it evolves really nicely. Pretty sweet. So I also like, there's some other presets in here that I like that work really well for like keys. If you want to transform them into pad sounds. It's got some resonance, especially when you hit chords, multiple keys. And what's nice about this is you could use the same simple sound and layer them to get some really interesting drone pad sounds to use in your work. Just hit the panic button to stop. So a lot of these have some really great evolving textures with it. And notice I'm not even playing with the parameters at all. So you could totally shape this into whatever you want. I'm just kind of showing you that right out of the box, what you can do with this. I really like this one. I like how it evolves and kind of swirls around. It's really nice. And then another one that I really like is Misty Mountain. I could see using this on a bass sound or as a bass sound. Got a little loud there. Let's see, I'll do another one that I like, Space Swarm. This one's got a lot of movement in it. Yeah, this one is one of my favorite ones. And again, I'm not doing anything with any of the parameters at all. It's got some nice tails. And I like how it evolves very slowly. So again, just a reminder, here's where we started. Just a basic sound. So now what I want to show you is I'm going to turn off this one. Doesn't really matter which one you do, and I'm going to pick squelch. So I was playing around with squelch and picked a few that I thought worked really well with this sound to kind of transform it. So that's what we have now. I'll turn this back on. I like how it sounds like it's lifting up. Lifting up. It's very cool. And then this echo spire. And I like how it's retaining the metallic sound of the squelch. And it's warming it up. And kind of diffuses out, which is really lovely. This one I thought worked really well too. So it keeps kind of the original tone and sound, and then it evolves out to what I like to call sparkles. Kind of a And I like that there's some clicky elements in there actually as it evolves. Has some texture. And then I also like the Misty Mountain one for this one as well. So you can really hear how this can transform any sound really, but I wanted to just use really basic sounds that don't have a lot going on to show you how you can create these really big atmospheric, evolving sounds that you can use in anything really. You could use it for a drone or, just having it be an evolving pad. So then what I wanted to show, this has you can get all of these kind of like texture sounds with meld. It's just a basic crackle. So I'm not even going to change any of the parameters here at all. So we're already using Misty Mountain, so I'm just going to start with that so you can kind of hear that you could use field recordings. You could use, effect sounds and transform them into sounds that you could use in transitions or just to add more texture and kind of some pieces of flair in your work. So it's kind of fun. So another one that works well with this particular sound is Echo Spire. And then another one is Space Swarm. And I like how that has a slow decay and almost sounds like a waterfall. Which is pretty cool. So I also have a couple of field recordings, and I'll just drop those in so we can listen to those with this reverb and see how you can use this with some field recordings that you may have or want to use in your work. So to give you an idea, I'll turn this off first, and you can hear. So let's just pick a random one. And here, let's do this one and see what it sounds like. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit, just in case it makes it really loud. So I could even hear this being like a percussive element that you could use. You could build percussion with this. Let's try it with this one. Okay. This is the creaking of my deck at my house. So let's do one of my favorite ones, Misty Mountain, just to see what it sounds like. And then with this last one, this is a gate that's on my property. And let's use dark space. Let's see what that sounds like. Ooh, this is cool. So really, there's so many possibilities with this. And then you do have parameters that you can change. And of course, this little help menu tells you what it does. And you can make your own presets and save them for later. So for a free plugin, this is pretty awesome because you can generate ideas very quickly and make some really interesting sounds and use them in your work immediately. And it won't take you a super long time to sound design things. And you can use your own samples with it and get some really, really interesting stuff. So let's just put a few tracks together to see how they sound together using these basic sounds and using solo with it to see what kind of, musical idea we can get. So I think I'm going to start with just this first one. So I'll have that running. I'm just gonna duplicate this one. And I'm gonna do, let's use squelch again. And instead of after image, I'm gonna use Misty Mountain. And I'm just gonna play on top of it. So I'm going to use my trusty capture here. So let's just make a little loop here. I know I keep moving this around with my limited real estate. Okay, so we got a base, we have a pad, and let's do this again. I'm going to duplicate it again, and let's pick a totally different sound. Let's see. And let's pick microcosm. Let's see. So then I'll play the other two and play on top of this. Let's see what we get. And then I'm going to put the chain in. I'm just going to let it play. See, 4 tracks. 3 of them are using the same synth, where I didn't even really make any changes. Just a few attack release changes maybe in the shape and motion a little bit. But you now have generated an idea to run with. It's pretty sweet. So I would go pick it up on Dawson's website, or Signs of Life's website. So I would pick this up. Free is always good, and it's a pretty powerful reverb VST, which I don't find it to be just a reverb, because it's got a lot of, glittery, shimmering echo elements. So you could combine this with other effects like filters and things like that, which could sound really, really cool. But I'll link it in the description and you can go pick it up and try it out for yourself. So keep listening, keep discovering. See you next time.